All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming. I think everybody here knows me. I don't know if you all know that I work for Remax. Also, I'm on the bridge team. And on our team, we have 7 agents. We have an administrative assistant, we have a transaction coordinator, and we have a marketing and operations manager. And that is James Burke, who is right behind you there. And he's going to record this. So, if you want to see it later, I will send it out to everybody whose email address I have in my database, and you can, if you miss something, you can take a look at it there. Oh my gosh. So some of you know that Alvy and I used to work together for many years, and Tammy, well, Tammy also worked with us. And Tammy can also attest to this, I'm sure. Alvy can misbehave in meetings. If if we would say, like, we have a new policy that we have to enact, Alvy would say, nope, nope, I'm not doing it, not doing it, not me, not doing it. I will never forget. And he did it, you're right. And he did it, but oh my. So James worked for WGL TV for 10 years as a cameraman. And now we're lucky enough to have him doing social media, marketing, all that kind of thing for us. So every house we sell, James does professional photographs of it. We do video that just covers social media. We'll be doing that soon for Barry up front here. He's going to be listing soon. And we also do virtual staging when houses are empty. He can do amazing things with virtually staging houses. So that's pretty cool. And our team is consistently ranked in the top 100 in the Northeast United States. So last month, I don't know, James, I think we were 33, something like that. We're usually somewhere in the top 50, actually, but yeah. So, and one interesting thing I learned recently was that the average age of a person selling a house last year was, does anybody want to guess how old they were? Are you 72, Alvy? Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Well, it was actually 63. So, and I'm guessing that most of those people were probably downsizing. And that can feel overwhelming. Todd and I downsized, 7, 8 years ago. We went from a 2-story, 2,400 square foot house to a ranch that's probably about 1,600 square feet. And I wish I would have known Liz Fry then because it wouldn't have been nearly as stressful. So when I was thinking about a seminar to do, I thought I'd heard so many things about good things about Beyond the Fork in the Road that I thought I'm going to reach out. So Liz Fry is here to talk to you today. She is the founder of Beyond the Fork in the Road, and she can probably tell you this too, but she's been in business 15 years doing this. So she's an expert.
And with me today is Anna Rice. She also has a tremendous amount of background in working with older people. She's currently at, I guess it's Maple Farms, is with Garden Spot, and she's been with Landis. So she sees some of the stress of people coming into these homes, into the retirement communities, and how difficult that can be if you don't prepare for this move and this evolution, this transition into a new home. So since it's spring, I thought we'd talk a little bit about spring tips today in decluttering homes, because one of the best things you can do is to really plan ahead when you're thinking about selling a home or you're thinking about moving, is you can never start too early that whole process of decluttering. Okay? You can never start too early. So we want to talk a little bit, first of all, go ahead, about the difference between downsizing and right sizing. Because a lot of people say, oh, I have to downsize. Well, maybe you're not downsizing. The difference is downsizing is such a negative connotation. If you don't think about it in terms of living, think about it in terms of where you work. If you're downsizing at a place of employment, what are you doing?
Setting people off.
Laying people off? Yeah. What else are you doing sometimes if you're downsizing at work?
Moving into smaller places.
Moving into smaller places. It could be sometimes a big business may have several offices. They're going to just completely eliminate some of the offices. So it's a very negative connotation when we're downsizing. It's a loss and a loss and a loss. So we like to talk about your right sizing, because what you're doing is looking at the things in your home in terms of what do you use, what do you need, versus what you have, and maybe you've collected over the years that you're no longer using, touching, or feeling. So let's go ahead. getting started, I'm going to give you a couple of my quick rules about the whole process of downsizing, but thinking of it in terms of right sizing. Number one, especially for everybody in this room, because you're not there quite yet, you need to set a date with yourself. That on every Tuesday morning from 8 to noon, I'm going to work on decluttering. Because if you don't make an appointment, you don't make a date with yourself, guess what happens? It doesn't happen. Exactly. There's always an excuse. Oh, I have a meeting I can go to at church. Oh, I have a doctor appointment. So number one, you have to make it important that you make an appointment with yourself and you do not break that appointment with yourself. Secondly, anything and everything that you have not seen, touched, or used for 12 months. Think about it. Why do you have it?
Oh my. Oh my.
We need a dumpster.
Oh, I have an attic full and a cellar full.
Third, these appointments with yourself need to be short, no longer than 4 hours, because your brain will get tired of making decisions.
For sure.
Okay? And what happens to people, they say, oh, I'm going to work on my kitchen today, and they get started. You have no idea at first how big a kitchen project can be. You get worn out, and you either do one of two things. You either sit there and you say to yourself, well, I've gotten rid of enough stuff. I'm not getting rid of any more. And that's not good. Or, holy cow, let's just get rid of it all. That's not good. Okay? The other thing is, if it is actually trash, it needs to go. Too many of us become what are known as dumpster divers. We set it aside, it's trash, but we walk past it and we look, and that thing that was trash yesterday comes back out because it's still there. If it's trash, put it out and let it go. So, now that we said it has to go, here's the other word, go. In central Pennsylvania, especially Lancaster County, we have a habit of not necessarily finishing our sentences. Something like, did you eat yet? Okay. So we have to have a word. People will say to me, oh, that vase has to go. Go. Okay, this can save a relationship. If you have a family member or a friend working with you, you need to know what is the code. Because go, here's this man, happy, helping, and you say to him, this purple vase has to go. And he puts it over here in the trash pile. And you move, and you go and you look, and you say, what happened to that beautiful vase that my great-grandmother gave us? Well, you said it had to go. I meant go with us. Okay? So this is a very important word. You need to have a code up in front in terms of what you mean by go. Go with you, meaning you're going to move. Is it something that you want to sell? Is it something that you want to donate? Is it something that goes to family or friends? You need not to just say, this needs to go. It has to have another word with it. My other guiding rule is the vice president of Lowe's, big store, made an observation. And he said, you know, our customers, now how many of you know Lowe's? Okay, just want to make sure you knew what a Lowe's was. Our customers are buying less, but they're buying the best.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. So as we go through my tips for decluttering your home, keep that in mind. That keep the best, get rid of the rest. You finished the sentence before I did. Okay, So one of the other things is you need to identify what are your favorite things. Because you don't have to get rid of everything, but what are your favorite things in terms of what you have, how do you use it, okay? Why do you love it? And is it a must-have item? For example, most of you were here in the flood of 72. Remember that? Okay, I was in the Harrisburg area where the river came up pretty fast. Okay, at the time I was working at the Polyclinic Hospital. We were an island. People didn't have a big warning because the water was coming in from underground during that flood. Remember that? You didn't get a warning. It wasn't because the river came up, it was because the water came up. So if somebody came by your home and said, you've got 30 minutes to get outside of this home because it's flooding. I'm coming back with my little pickup truck to put the things that are most important to you in that truck. I'll bet you it's not your ironing board. I'll bet you it's not your lawnmower.
Oh, it might be. I know him.
So one of the things that you need to start looking at is when you go home today, is as you go from room to room, what are the things that are absolutely your favorite items, that are the must-haves, that have a story behind them that really means something to you? Now, there's very interesting things may influence why it is a favorite thing. How many of you recognize this? If you are over 50, what's the thing you have to do according to your doctor? Oh, now we recognize it. So after, we're laughing. Okay, so we had to have our colonoscopies, and we had that gritty thing and that slimy drink, and we had to drink it all. After you went through that procedure, why did you need to keep this container? Because you might need it someday. Here's the other thing. My grandmother did this needlepoint, and this was my grandfather's bow tie that he wore to church every Sunday. I would feel so guilty getting rid of this. Okay. Here's one of my stories about that. My mother gave me a beautiful meat platter, and it was the Blue Flow, gorgeous meat platter, big meat platter. Now, when we move people, we find a lot of meat platters in the bottom drawer of the dressers in women's bedrooms because big meat platters, you can't set it in the kitchen cabinet this way because you can't close the door. You can't set it up because it's too tall. So we put it in the bottom dresser. We're not using it anyhow. But on the back of this dresser from my mother was this sentence. With all story about how it came from grandmother to uncle to blah, blah, blah. And then there was this one sentence. This meat platter must never, 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 7 nevers, leave the family. Talk about, did I feel guilty getting rid of that meat platter? You betcha. But you know what? My mother's spirit was not in the meat platter. Her generosity was not in a meat platter. And I had to understand that it was okay to let some of these things go and not feel guilty about some of the family things going away. The other thing is we have personal achievements. We've kept a lot of our little medals and our awards. We have had people who have kept their first spelling test that they got an A++ on in 5th grade. Okay? We don't need to keep all these personal achievements anymore either. Or the other thing people will say is, it's going to be worth money. I can't let this thing go because it's depression glass, it's crystal, whatever it is. It's going to be worth money. So I can't let it go. Oh, and here's the one that I love. Because this is true stories. We've been doing this for 15 years. That's why I said something about the lawnmowers. We had a person who had 12 lawnmowers in their garage. Not one of them worked. But why couldn't we get rid of those lawnmowers? Because I can use it for parts. So let's start today. Here's the one that's not emotional, not difficult. Okay, your linen closet. Oh, come on, don't tell me that's emotional for you. All right. So the linen closet, usually we find our blankets, towels, things of that sort. So what was the one rule I told you? Is you're going through all of your blankets and towels. Put all of them out on your bed somewhere. All your towels. And what did I say? Keep the best. Get rid of the
Yes.
You don't need to keep all the towels that have fringes on them, that are worn through. Okay? Let them go. It's okay. Just keep the best. Let go of the rest. Medicines. We all have been lectured about letting go of old, outdated prescriptions. It's time to do it when you're going through that linen closet. Luggage. Oh my goodness. Why do we have luggage that, remember when we first traveled? She's pointing at that. And we had the Samsonites. Remember those?
Oh my God.
And then we got rid of those because now we got the luggage on wheels. That was exciting. You could just roll around without. And then we got the ones that spin on wheels and they spin. Okay. And then there's the new kind that are lightweight that fit underneath the seat in front of you in the airplane. But why do we still have the big honking big luggage still in our houses? You might need it someday.
Makes a good storage. Yeah. Store those linens you're not going to get rid of.
Exactly. Put the linens you don't need into that suitcase and march it off to donate it. Toiletries. Good Lord, we all know we've traveled. We have those little bars of soaps, those little shampoos, all those little toiletries that we've just been collecting over the years because when guests come to the home, we have little guest things for them. Let them go. You have women in crisis. There's other places where they can use these toiletries you're no longer using. It's springtime. What do we all do in the spring? Cleaning. Okay, that's a big item, is spring cleaning. Okay. You need to use what you have. But here's the basics, because we have so many cleaning supplies today. There was an expert that I just read this article about 3 weeks ago about you really only need 3 things. You need Windex, you need Dawn, okay, and maybe scrubbing bubbles. So I added one thing that I think you might need, because I can remember growing up, I had 3 older brothers. My oldest brother was a very tricky guy. Every Saturday, the 4 kids had an assignment to clean, all right? And mom and dad would go off and do their errands. When they came home, we were supposed to be done with the cleaning. So one vacuumed, one dusted, one had to clean the bathrooms, one had to clean the kitchen. Well, my older brother got assigned the bathrooms. And we'd all be working away before mom and dad came home. But he would, like 15, 20 minutes before they got there, dump that pine sol in that bathroom sink, add a bunch of hot water to it, and hippy skippy, he was done. My mother would come home and say, it smells so clean, you did a wonderful job. So, okay, one maybe cleaning item that smells clean, that reminds you of something so that you can keep that in mind. Here's the thing too. You've got the scrubbing bubbles, the Windex, the Dawn dishwashing. I mean, Dawn even cleans little ducks when they get into oil. Okay. An upright hand vacuum, and paper towels or rags. All right, that's all you need. You don't need all these supplies of cleaning. When we go into people's homes, I find cleaning supplies under every bathroom sink, under the kitchen sink, in the laundry area, in the garage. I have a plethora of cleaning supplies. That's all you need. You can start today in your kitchen. Okay?
Well, yeah.
The cups that you get from
Kitchen utensils. Very typical Pennsylvania Dutch. How many of you have that little container, a crock or something of that sort with kitchen utensils sitting on your counter? You have 2. You have. One,
I have 6.
Yeah.
6. Oh my gosh.
I have a fetish for wood.
Okay, so you have 6. And then you have a drawer with kitchen utensils in it. Maybe 2 drawers with kitchen utensils in it.
You never know.
You never know. You might need it someday. What I tell you to do, you don't even have to think this through. Throw all those kitchen utensils in a box, set it out on your counter. As you use them, put them away. In about 2 weeks, you're not going to that box anymore because you use the same peeling knife because it feels good to your hand. You use the same cooking forks, the same spatulas, the same spoons. You don't need 8 different teaspoon sets because one has little duckies on it, one's plastic, one's metal. You don't need 8. What are you actually using? Okay. At the end of 2 weeks, if you're not going back to that box anymore, close the box up and put it out because it's going away. It's stuff you're not using and you don't need and you don't even want it anymore. Okay? Coffee mugs are a real pet peeve of mine. You don't need 72 coffee mugs. What happens is the younger generation, they don't know what to get us because they think we have everything. So what do? We love grandma, we love grandpa. Here's a picture of the baby on a coffee mug. You have a coffee mug from this. And how many of you have gone to some of these retirement communities? What do? They give you a mug. The bank gives you a mug. You know, I was doing a presentation with another realtor who was handing out mugs and they took them back. Like, uh-oh. You travel, you have a mug, says Chicago on it, you have a mug from where you worked, you have mugs. How many mugs do you need? And you still have those little coffee cups with cups and saucers. People don't use cups and saucers. You put your little finger in there and you get like 2 sips and you have to refill your coffee cup. Nobody's using that. People are using mugs, but you don't need all these mugs. Pick out your favorite. If they have chips, let them go. You don't need them. Keep the best, get rid of the rest. The same thing with plastic containers. Big pet peeve of mine. We all do it. You go out and you buy a little chicken salad somewhere, right? And it comes in those little plastic containers.
Keep them.
Okay. How many of you wash them out carefully and put them back into your closet because you're going to use them for leftovers? Please don't do that. You end up having a big storage area full of plastic containers. What you need are the Corral, the glassware, the Pyrex, because what happens is when you put your leftovers in plastic containers and you take them out of the refrigerator and you want to reheat them, plastic does funny things in your microwave. It really doesn't work in the oven at all. So if you just store it in the Pyrex in the first place, you can reheat it in the Pyrex or the oven. Don't use the plastic. It's really not necessary. Vases. This is another one. Okay, you can make a vase, but women have a lot of vases. Oh, you have vases too.
My issue is I don't know what to do with them. I want to get rid of them, but I don't know what to do with them.
We're going to talk about that.
Good.
If you have vases, like how many rosebud vases do we need? How many of you really put out a single rosebud for decoration at home?
Occasionally.
Occasionally, maybe in the summer, the last rose of summer, I'd say. But one rosebud vase is enough because it is that occasional. You can maybe keep a vase that is a color you like, a shape you like. I have my husband trained. I have a big vase, so for anniversaries and stuff, he takes the vase to the florist and gets it refilled because I don't want any more big vases. Okay? If it says McCoy, Made in USA on the bottom of planters or vases, those are ones you might want to consider using to send to an auction company or keeping those. Those are worth something. Not a lot, but they're better than the ones that say FTD or Made in China. Okay? And food. We come across how many science projects in people's freezers.
That's the truth.
Okay. We have food that's down in the bottom of our freezers that has been there that now is freezer burned, but we never get down to it because we keep putting stuff on top of it. Clean those freezers out. You don't necessarily need all the food. Spices. Spices have a time that they are no longer spicy. Okay. If you have herbs in your cabinet, 3 years, seasoning blends, seeds, 4 years accepting poppy seeds. How many of you know what the poppy plant's good for? Poppy plants can what?
Yeah, they can make you mess up your mind.
Mess up your mind. So you don't want these old poppy seeds, okay? Especially if you have grandkids that come to visit you sometimes. Go ahead. Here's the thing about clothing. You can start that, if we started with the kitchen or your linen closet today, maybe start this tomorrow, clothing. I have an 80-20 rule. We wear 20% of our clothing 80% of the time. Okay? Now, you're in jeans. Some others of us are in jeans. There was a time my grandmother never wore slacks. My grandmother always had a dress on. Okay? But now we've gotten much more casual. So casual that if I have my pair of jeans that really fit me and they're comfortable, that's the same pair I wear every week. Okay? We have dressier clothes. How often do we wear that? How often do you guys wear a tie at church anymore? We are not dressed as like we used to dress, but we kept a lot of our former work clothes when you used to dress to go to work. Okay? We don't necessarily need that. So here's my clothing rules. This is actually true pictures from places we've had to clean out, by the way. You gotta love the clothing that's in your closet. And it has to fit you now.
I know what that means.
I used to always have about 3 sizes in my closet.
Well, you just
Just
never.
in
Just
case.
in case.
Just in case.
In case I lose weight, in case I gain weight. Okay? It feels good when you wear it, and you get compliments from it. And what you can do with your clothing is, again, put all those black slacks together. Look at these rules. And keep the best for yourself and let the rest go. And people, I know this is an intimate little group, so I can say this among friends. Underwear. Underwear has elastic. Elastic does wear out. We have so often received gifts from people, or we have continued to wear it. Have you ever noticed, ladies, that there's ladies' consignment shops, but not men's consignment shops? Do you know why? Men wear their stuff till they're rags. And even beyond rags. This is a true story. I went to my brother who's in the medical field and I said, my husband has a problem with his extremities being cold because every time I do the laundry, there's 2 pairs of socks together. I always have to take them apart. I think his feet are always cold. Wouldn't you think that? That you're doubling your socks? Okay, isn't that logical? Do you know what the answer was? He told me, oh no, that's not it. But this sock had the toe out and this sock had the heel out. And if I put 2 socks on together, I had covered my foot. We had to have a discussion. We sent my aunt in Florida every year a new nightgown. Do you know, when that aunt passed away and we were cleaning out her home, we looked at the bed and here was the nightgown that you could see where her elbow was, where her hips were, worn threadbare. Okay, threadbare, not threadbare, worn threadbare. And in that closet were all the boxes of new nightgowns.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, let this stuff go. If you have undies with the elastic shot, pitch them. Don't keep trying to wear this stuff. Wear your new things now. Here's my next bone of contention. Paper. We are not a paperless community. We keep saying we're going paperless, but the truth of the matter is when we go into homes, this is one of the hardest things we have to clean out for people is all the paper that they have in their homes. We have credit card statements going back to the 80s, and older people, we were brought up like this, you kept your receipts and attached them to the statement because you wanted to cross-reference. We didn't trust that the credit card statement was going to be accurate. We kept our little gas receipts. We kept all this. Here we're coming across receipts from Burger King for $4.37, dated 1987. Why do we still have this stuff? Magazines, newspapers. We have saved the first man on the moon. We have saved the Kennedy assassination. We have saved the flood of 72. Why? They really aren't valuable. There are so many of them out there. We don't need to save the papers. We don't need to save all the Smithsonians. We don't need to save all the National Geographics. Maybe if you have the National Geographics from the first 1 or 2 years, those have some value. And men, if you have Playboy with the Madonna centerfold, that's valuable. Okay? But the others you can let go.
I have a question.
Yes.
Encyclopedias, what do you do with them?
I send them to the auction company. Depends on what encyclopedia they are. Sometimes they have a value to them, but otherwise, like the Mennonite Central Committee does crafts with the old encyclopedias.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Photos. That's the next thing that's hard to get rid of. Here's my rules for photos. Get all the photos out. Rule 1. Do you know the people on those pictures?
Or other people.
If you don't even know the people, get rid of them. Number 2, do you like the people on those pictures? If you don't like them, let them go. Number 3, if you like them and it's a really bad picture, don't do that. Embarrass people that you like with a picture that they don't like. Let it go. Okay? And number 4, if you have multiple pictures of the same event, the same thing, pick the best and let it go. Nobody needs to see 150 pictures of elephants from your safari in Africa. Nobody needs to see 300 pictures of a wedding event. Pick the best pictures from that wedding event and let go of the rest. This can be some of the most difficult things for people to let go. We have a lot of old picture albums from travels. Some of them are so old that the pictures are faded now. You can hardly see them anymore. Okay? And there are new ways to preserve pictures that's called digitize. You can go and get some of your photos digitized too. This is another big one. We store things for other people, primarily children. Okay, if you still have things, you don't look so embarrassed. You're not the only one. If you still have things that belong to your children, box it up and tell them it's theirs. You know, if they don't take it, that's on them. You gave them their things. If you borrowed something, return it. You don't need to keep those things. So no warehousing, get rid of that stuff. So to your point, we've done a great job. Now we have all these things spread across our dining room table, our foyer, all over the house. Things we don't want, don't use, don't need. How do you get rid of all the vases, right? Especially when you have the issue of family dynamics, where you've got children, a spouse possibly, brothers, sisters, and you've got the discussion going back and forth. My former business partner would say it's all junk. And I'd be like, it's all valuable. It's junk. It's valuable. You'll have this in family dynamics too. Kids are going to say, oh, Mom, that's just junk. Get rid of that. And you're like holding it. I think it's pretty nice. You know, so you have the issue of family dynamics, and you also have to deal with the fact that your kids don't want your stuff. You know that. Okay. So what is your objective for the stuff that you have now worked so hard to identify that you want to get rid of? Do you want to get cash? Is that an objective? Do you just want it to go away with the least amount of work? Or do you want it to go away in the shortest amount of time? Do you want cash, the least amount of work, or do you want it to be done fast? Those are three things to consider. So what are things worth? Antique, anything that's before 1964, which is all of us, excepting you. I don't know, you might be an antique.
I was born in 84.
Oh, she's far from an antique.
For 20 years.
Okay, she's not even in the collectible range. But look, she hit the desirables. 1980 to the present, items that are in that genre are desirable. And the bottom line is something reusable. And keep in mind that nothing has value if you don't have a buyer for it. So now that we know what's antique, what's collectible and desirable, here's the thing you need to keep in mind. Who are the buyers and who are the sellers? Now, Vicki told us earlier today that the age of the people who were selling their homes is what? What? 63.
Yep.
Your sellers, average, are 65 years and older. These are the people going through the downsizing process and getting rid of things. And it holds out for real estate. Your buyers are the 33 to 55-year-olds. So that tells you what your thing may be worth is if it is desirable to a 35 to 55-year-old. So think about that. We have a lot of expectations. How many of you watch the Antique Roadshow on TV? Occasionally, a couple of you. How many times? How many times are things going up in value? Oh, people are saying they're not going up in value. Okay. So keeping these things that you think have a value is not necessarily holding out because your buyers don't have the same value on things. Insurance appraisals, those Hummel collections, the Zvarsky collections, all of those old collections that people insured, the insurance company is going to make money on you. Doesn't mean that those Hummels kept their value over all the years. You have friends, and you also have your own perception of what is valuable based on the stories. I would say to you, go ahead, be very, very careful about some of the family stories. We had somebody who told me about this flag that was flown over Gettysburg during the Civil War. Well, you know what? It had too many stars to be in the Civil War. So value is subject to condition. Condition, condition, condition. So a lot of people have old books, old encyclopedias. Here's one of the things that you have to consider. This book came from the 1800s, Play Hours. What made it a very valuable book was the company was De Wolf and Fisk and Company, okay? And it has color. Some of the pictures inside were even in color. Most of them are in black and white. So it's a very old book, very good company, and it had color for the 1800s. But look, and it looks in here like a mouse was chewing some of it. It looks like a kid scribbled through some of it.
Some of it on the floor.
There's some of it on the floor. So how much are you going to give me for my book?
Well, a thing.
Nobody wants my book because it's not in good condition. So just because it's old doesn't mean that it's going to maintain its value. Here's the other thing. It needs to be complete. We had to come up with a way to wire these arms together, and she does have a head.
She's just lost it.
Will you buy my doll?
No, it's scary.
Actually, scary sells. So if it's not complete, it's not going to hold its value. Here's the other thing. Is it the right generation? 60s and 70s are hot. So when you're reading in the papers that vinyl records are valuable, and they say classics How many of you think classic? Beethoven, Mozart, Chopin. But if you're talking classics from the 60s and 70s, they're talking Rolling Stones vinyl. Not a lot of the vinyl that the older people have as they're downsizing. You're not going to sell Beethoven. You could sell Rolling Stones. The other thing is it scarce? If there's a whole lot of it out there, it devalues it. And is it something that's desirable? So here's an example of what we're talking about. We had a Coca-Cola toy come into us. And it was one of those that you could put the soda in the top, and then you could open this thing and pour it into a little glass, and it hit all the buttons. It was in great condition. It was complete. I had every piece of this Coca-Cola machine. It was the right generation, and I put it on eBay, and guess what? The good thing about eBay is it's international. The bad thing about eBay is it's international. I put it on eBay, there was 36 just like it. I didn't get the scarcity button. It devalued my Coca-Cola toy. Okay. So here's options to consider. I need to get rid of my stuff. There's estate sales. There's a lot of consignment stores here in Lancaster County. Online auctions. Online auctions would be coming down here a little bit further is the Craigslist, your Facebook marketplace. Those are some of the fast ones. You have traditional auctions. You have Horst, you have Klein, you have Hess's. What is Hess's now? Conestoga. These auction places all want to get the best prices for you. That's their business because that's how they make their money. Okay, but you need to explore who the buyers are because that's who actually adds the value to what you want to sell. So if you're taking everything to one auction place who's known to have buyers who are looking at primitives, antiques, and you have a couple primitives, a couple antiques, but here's his mid-century table, you might only get $0.25 for your mid-century contemporary table because that's not the buyer there. So sometimes you can't take everything to the same auction house, depending on the buyers. If the auction house has the online auction in addition to the live in-face type auction, you're going to have a bigger buyer market, okay? The other thing about going to the auctions and seeing who the buyers are is it helps you identify what we call specialty vendors. Specialty vendors are the ones who are going to auctions and buying things low and taking it back to their shops to sell it at a higher. Okay, you will see people from next to new furniture buying at auctions. You'll see people from vintage kitchens buying at auctions. So when you see these people, you know they're not there every week buying furniture for their own home. Talk to them. Oh, you work for next to new. Oh, you work over here for garden spot furniture. Find out who they are, and you can go to them directly. Cut out the middleman and sell your things directly to the specialty vendors. Otherwise, you're getting less money for your item by just sending it to auction. Make sense?
Yeah.
You've got a pyramid going here, and you're at the bottom of the pyramid. It's your stuff, so you want to go as high as possible for who's going to be reselling your item. Okay? The other big thing is donate. There's a lot of people here in Lancaster County who are very needy. It's amazing to me how many churches have food pantries and the lines at food pantries, or they have clothing exchanges and the lines waiting for clothing. The people who come for the free lunches. There are a lot of children who are in need in our county. There's a lot of places that are very worthwhile nonprofit organizations who need things all the time. You can always donate. The other thing is, know what resources are out here for you. There's timelines. If you're actually getting ready to sell now, look at the timelines that are online. There's movers guides when you're getting ready to move. If you're moving in May, June, what you need to do 8 weeks in advance, 7 weeks in advance, 6 weeks in advance, all that is out there for you. But the bottom line is, if you really want to have a stress-free ability to get rid of stuff, get ready to move, whatever you want to do, then get help. This could be one of the fastest ways for you to get through it as stress-free as possible. You have companies that are senior move managers. Our company is one that are move managers. These are people who just help organize, declutter. They plan everything related to a move, from packing, unpacking, moving, getting you settled in your new home, getting things staged at your home for the realtor to be able to sell the home. They do the whole plan with you, and you can select, I want this, this, and that. I don't need you to do this for me. There are professional organizers. These are people who can come in and just work with you one-on-one and do nothing but organize your home for you. The very worthwhile calls. So staying within the timeline that I was given, let the good times roll. You don't want to be shackled to stuff. You don't want to be shackled to your home. Now's the time to do the important things in life. You know, you're going to die, I'm going to die, we're all going to die, but we have to live until we die. How do you want to spend the next years of your life? Cleaning? Maintaining your home? Worrying with all this stuff? This is a good time to clean it all out and let it go and do the important things, do the meaningful things. Let the good times roll and go forward and talk to Vicki. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Liz. There was just so much helpful in there. I'm sure some of you have some questions, though. So we have time for questions and answers.
I just want to give a testimonial. We
Okay.
use Liz and her company. It
Oh,
was
wow.
awesome experience.
Oh,
I don't know if you
Cool,
remember
very
Liz,
nice.
but- So, I mean, it was worth it. I do have a question. When I did a move from Ohio in east, I was fortunate. A friend's son had semi-retired, and he did nothing but sell things on eBay. And I never wanted to get involved with eBay. So he was like a godsend, because he would go through my house, tell me what had value, what would sell on eBay. We sold a fur coat to Australia. I mean,
Yep.
but he did it all and showed me a spreadsheet on, his take and my return. Are there resources here in Lancaster County, and how do I find them?
Our company now does that.
Does it?
We do sales on eBay. The higher, more valuable items like art, we go on with a website called Charish, Chairish, not Cherish, but Charish. It sounds like Cherish, but it's Chair. Because I know the one guy in our office had posted something on eBay for $300. Wouldn't sell. He posted it on Cherish for $1,200, and a lady in Oregon offered him $900 for it. So yeah, we'll take $900. We only were going to get $300 on eBay. So yeah, you have to look at what are your venues. Well, I wasn't here necessarily to promote our company, but I thank you for the credit. We do have some tips out here for you on too much stuff. We have decluttering, sorting. We have our prices for it. We have a tip sheet on vital documents, a checklist, so you know what are vital documents that you need to know where they are at any time. Estate planning, key documents, insurance policies, proof of ownership, financial documents. We also have a tip sheet. I would say everybody should take this. Follows our presentation on tip sheet, things to toss. That's a very helpful one. We have things here on paper clutter. Is it clutter? Just regular clutter with a little flow chart of what to do with it, if it's something you keep, something you toss. So we do have some handouts here for you as well. But yeah, we have our own consignment store, and we do sell on eBay.
I knew you had the consignment store, but
yeah, we sell on eBay as well.
Anybody else?
Where is your consignment?
I was just going to ask that.
It's where our office is. How many of you are familiar with Denver?
A little bit.
Okay. there used to be a dairy called Triple G. And Triple G now has moved, dwarfed into becoming a Fox Chase Golf Club. So we have the old Triple G store area. That was a dairy farm at one time. So our office is there and our store is there.
That's in York County.
No, it's in Denver,
So
Pennsylvania.
just a little bit north of Ephrata, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go like Ephrata, and you come into. I'm not
Neat place. It's a neat little town.
Yeah, Denver is cool.
And the name of the store?
beyond the fork in the road.
Oh, that's neat.
And there's brochures up here too. So please, on your way out, pick up, whatever information. But any other questions?
Where did the vases go?
You know what? I see signs all around right now at these Amish farms.
They want
They're
vases.
always looking for vases because
Mhm.
they cut flowers out and sell them.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, that's an idea.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
got so many.
And they appreciate them. They really do.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
one on Marietta Avenue that I pass all the time that the same thing. They sell cut flowers and they're always looking for vases. So, well, thank you again, Liz. So much helpful information, but I really like keep the best, get rid of the rest. I mean, that's gonna resonate with me. I'm gonna remember that. So, and thank you everybody for coming. I know there's some donut holes left, so please feel free.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome,
You're
of
welcome,
course.
welcome.
Okay, Linda, if your house